So after the last adventure with our hero conquering the dead mines, our adventurer made his way to Booty Bay, where everyone was waiting for him to celebrate his victory. Well, only in his dreams, because they were all there, waiting for what is known as a world buff. A buff that is given to all players when the Heart of Hakar is turned into Molthor on Yojamba Isle as part of the Heart of Hakar quest. With our adventurer now buff up like a wrestler, what better way to put those buff to use then on a dungeon? With our adventurers getting ready to do Wailing Caverns and our hero as the tank, the first boss was not a problem for our adventurers. At this moment everything was going as planned, but our hero had a bit of a problem. He had no idea where the hell he was going. But the actual truth was, our hero has never done Wailing Caverns before, which is something you don't want to hear from your tank in a hardcore server. The next boss, Lord Cobran, a level 20 elite druid of the Fang who likes to put people to sleep, was put to sleep for good. The next so-called boss, Kresh, a level 20 elite turtle, but in reality, an innocent turtle who is simply minding their own business, enjoying life, was murdered for loot by our brave heroes.
Don't forget to jump!
As our adventurer made their way back up, and who should not try out for basketball anytime soon, our adventurers apparently passed by and missed the lizard boss Scum at some point in time. The next boss, Lord Serpentis, did not put up much of a fight. Just like his brothers and sisters, he too was put to sleep. The next boss, Verdun the Ever-Living, a level 21 elite elemental, the toughest boss in the whole dungeon as of yet, was no match for our adventurers. As our adventurers continue through the dungeon, they seem to be a bit lost. If only our adventurers had the map from Dora the Explorer, this probably won't be happening. So after a lot of walking and more walking, they finally found Scum the Thunder Lizard. And of course, Scum, our lizard friend, stand no chance against Azeroth's finest warriors and was put down. Once Scum was dealt with, it was time for the optional dungeon event that unlocks when all 4 Lords of the Fang have been slain. During the event, players will be required to escort the disciple of Naralex to the ritual stone where Naralex sleeps. Now, Naralex is the kind of guy who likes to smell the roses on his way there. He's in no rush and enjoys spending time and talking while being hunted down at the same time. So after a very long walk, our adventurers finally reached their destination, and it was time for the final battle. First comes the first wave of ads, which our adventurers took care of with no issue. The second wave of ads was also dealt with very quickly. Once all the ads were dead, the final boss, Mutanus, shows up to challenge our adventurers. Now, Mutanus possesses 2 forms of crowd control that can be used against your group. Thundercrack, stunning you and anyone else for 2 seconds, and Terrify, causing anyone to flee in fear for 4 seconds. But even with that, Mutanus, the Devourer, was still simply no match for our adventurers. With the final boss out of the way, our adventurers has now conquered the Wailing Caverns. As our adventurers parted ways, it was time for our hero to take a break and relax by killing more wildlife for some EXP. As our hero made his way to Redridge Mountains, there was someone in need, and that need was for you to take care of a pig named Bellygrub. Now, Redridge Mountains is a place teeming with life, as well as a lot of Blackrock orcs. As our hero continued to wipe out the Blackrock orc species, our hero came across 2 dead bodies. It looks like an epic battle took place here, a war that took some adventurers' lives. But this is the price you pay, playing on a hardcore server. Death comes for everyone. Now in Redridge Mountains, there are about 4 elite quests you can do, and our hero was about to do 3 of them. Now all these elite quests have something in common: kill a lot of orcs. But not only that, all 3 quests takes place all in the same location. But our hero wasn't alone. Since this is an elite quest, our hero could use some backup if he wants to do all 3 quests safely. The very first quest is Tharil Zun, in which our adventurers needs to bring in Tharil Zun's head to Marshal in Redridge. But getting to Tharil Zun will not be easy, as our adventurers will have to kill every elite orc they see to make their way there. Once our adventurers made their way there, it was time to take out the trash. And so Tharil Zun and his gang was taken out by our adventurers. Well, actually, Tharil Zun was taken out by a pig. Our adventurers just cleaned up the mess. The other quest was to collect midnight orbs from slain Blackrock Shadowcasters, so our adventurers got to even more killing. Our adventurers then made their way up the tower for the last quest, which is to kill Gath Ilzog and bring his head to Magistrate Solomon in Lakeshire. As our adventurers went up the tower, they came across another set of adventurers who was also there for Gath Ilzog head. But even the 2 adventurers was not enough for Gath Ilzog and had to get the hell out of there. As our adventurers made their way to Gath Ilzog room, well, they now have to wait for him to respawn.
Five minutes later. 11 minutes later. One hour later. 3 hours later. Eventually.
So after what felt like days waiting, it was time for the final showdown. With the pig as our tank, tanking Gath Ilzog, and will soon put our hero out of work. And with most of Gath Ilzog henchmen dead, this fight was not much of a problem for our adventurers. And so with the last stad dead, the battle has been won, thanks to Azeroth's greatest warriors, the pig. And let's be honest, the pig did most of the work. With that out of the way, it was time for our adventurers to make their way back out and part ways. All's well that ends well, as they say, but for our hero, well, there was one problem. He forgot to take the Gath Ilzog wanted quest.